Welcome to another Incubate show. Today we're going to talk about a very hot topic that's going around in Canada, which is the Express Entry mid-year report that was announced by the CIC office, or the Citizenship and Immigration Canada office. The report was issued on July 6th of 2015, and it covers the period of January to June of 2015. So we will go over the numbers, we'll talk about the report, what the system has been doing so far, and then we will talk about the percentages of each of the programs that are available under Express Entry and how things are scaling out from the overall projections to the reality for where we are today. No, please do not treat this as legal advice. This is only based on our own opinion and just crunching up the numbers and the statistics of the report versus the history of the CIC reports that have been announced, which is available publicly and online. So you still need to seek your own legal consultation. Talk to your immigration attorney, talk to your immigration consultant. Make sure that you get the right legal advice when it comes to your permanent residency interest in Canada. And this is only our attempt to assist you in giving you additional information as you go through your, whether it is interest in applying for Express Entry, or if you're already in the system and you're just wondering how things are going or what are the chances of you receiving an invitation to apply. So just a quick overview about what Express Entry is. Express Entry is an online system. It's a ranking system where there are pools in that system that candidates fall under based on their job classification. The system was created in January of 2015 to replace the old permanent residency methods of application for specific economic-based programs in Canada. And this program was built for a sole purpose of reducing the backlog or reducing the processing time for permanent residency application. The government is promising that they were going to promise up to 80% of all applications in 6 months or less, versus the old wait time of around 2 to 3 years until you receive your permanent residency as you apply for the different economic streams before the existence of Express Entry. So, what's going on in Express Entry in 2015 from January till June? The main statement that was given by CIC is that the Express Entry system is still in its initial phase. The system is being tuned up, the system is being adjusted to meet the government's objectives as candidates start applying every single day and entering different pools based on their job classifications and based on the eligibility of the systems that are available. So Express Entry has 4 programs that are available under it right now. The Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, the provincial nominee programs, some of them, not all, and then finally the Canadian Experience class. So these are the 4 buckets that you can apply under, or the 4 different programs you can apply under in Express Entry. Now, when it comes to PNP, or the provincial nominee program, you still need to qualify under one of the 3 main programs, which is Federal Skilled Worker, Federal Skilled Trades, or CEC. Your provincial nominee certification or a certificate of nomination under PNP would give you 600 additional points, which you can apply to one of the 3 main programs. But these are the 4 categories that you can apply under under Express Entry. So, in 2015, from the beginning of Express Entry till today, the number of applications and the number of candidates that are entering the pool are increasing by 1,500 candidates per week. There is around 112,000 applications that have entered the system from January till June of 2015. From the 112,000 applications, there were around 41,000 applications that are considered eligible. So there's 41,000 active profiles. And that's around 37% of all the candidates that entered into the express entry system, regardless of where the classification was. So like a federal skilled worker, trades, or CEC. 48,000, a little bit more than that, of the profiles were considered not eligible, which is around 43%. So 43% considered not eligible, 37% considered eligible and active. There were around 4% or 4,000 applications or profiles that are still pending. So whether it is somebody that did not complete their the job bank application, or they did not confirm their PMP nomination, they're just around 4% of all the profiles still pending. And then around 6% of all the profiles that were created were withdrawn, which is around 6,400 applications. So you can see here that a big chunk or a big percentage of the profiles were not eligible. You're looking at 43%. Now this could be for various reasons. You need to understand that express entry is a information or self-informed system, as in you input this information into a profile. There are no documents required at that point to support your profile as evidence. You only need your IELTS result, and you put your IELTS exam number. You need your ECA or your educational credential assessment, and you put that number in there as well. And then you report the number of years, your marital status, your age, your experience, etc., etc. So this is self-reporting. You reported this information, and then you enter the profile. At one point, you're going to be approved for an invitation to apply so that you can submit your application for permanent residency. Now, at that point, you have to submit all your evidence or all the supporting documents required from you. And if the information does not match, or if you had a change in your status, you got married or whatever it is that changed along the way, you have to report that, and it needs to match your final application. If it doesn't, your application is not going to be successful because there's a mismatch between what you said and what you reported in the profile versus what the reality of where you are today. A lot of applications are being withdrawn. A lot of invitations to apply are being withdrawn because people are not meeting the minimum requirements, or their situation is changing along the way by the time they get the invitation to apply. So 41,000 and some change active profiles from 112,000 applicants that came into the system. What happened in these categories? What happened to these folks? So the comprehensive ranking system, which is also CRS, that's the score that each person gets, each candidate gets in express entry as they get their CRS score when they enter and they put all the information in the profile. If you look at the distribution of all the profiles, we look at around 87% of all the candidates, that's around 35,884 active profiles. If you look at the distribution of the scores that have been entered into the system, you'll notice that around 87%, which is roughly 36,000 profiles, are between the score range of 300 to 499. So if you're between, your CRS score is 300 to 499, you're in the majority of the applications. You're sitting in the 87% of everybody else. The other 13% is either over 500 or below 299. Now, if you take that and break it down to three categories, which is three ranges, 300 points to 349 points, 350 to 399, and then 400 to 449. So the first one is the 300 to 349. There's around 30% of all the applications or all the applicants are sitting in that range, which is around 12,500 candidates. If you go up to the next category, which the next bucket, which is the 350 to 399 CRS score range, there's around 35% of all the applications are sitting in that range, which is around roughly 14,500 candidates. The next category up there, or the next range, is the 400 points to 449. In that range, there's around 21% of all the applicants, which is roughly 8,700 applicants. So, if your score is over 300 and below 450, you are in the majority score range that all applicants are sitting in as of today. From these folks, so that obviously this is all, if you combine them, there's 41,000 active profiles, which is what we talked about. So from these candidates, from the 41,000 people that have been active, that have been eligible to be in the express entry system, if we divide that into the three main or the four main buckets that you can apply under, so PMP, CEC, Federal Skilled Worker, and Skilled Trades, if you look at these four, you will notice that it gets a bit interesting. For PMP, there is around 700 applications, or 700 active profiles. Federal Skilled Worker, around 4,800. Skilled Trades, 1,800. And then CEC, you have 5,500. Percentage-wise, PMP is around 5%. That PMP is 5%. Skilled Workers, 37%. Skilled Trades is 14%, and CEC is 42%. So the biggest chunk, the biggest percentage is CEC. Why? This is because the program is new. The program just started in January 2015. So the majority of the applicants all came from Canadian experience. They either have job offers, they're already working in Canada, they already have Canadian experience, or they have received PMP nominations. So if you look at the progress from one draw to another, the first four draws, 100% of all the applicants or all the profiles were in the system, all came in from points base 600 and above, means they all have job offers, they have a positive LMIA that supports their job offers, they're already working in Canada, or they have PMP nominations. In the fifth draw, which was in around March of 2015, that dropped a bit to 75% of all the candidates had job offers. 25% did not have job offers, so they were under the 600 range. It went back up in the sixth draw, dropped again to 20%, meaning 20% of all applicants had job offers, 80% they did not. So 80% of the applicants that came in mid of this range between January and June of 2015 did not have job offers. Climbed back up, went down, and then it stabilized. So if you take as an average, 70% of all the applicants that received an ITA from the 41,000 had job offers or PMP nominations. 30% did not. The total number of ITAs or invitations to apply that were issued is 12,928 from January till June of 2015. And then we talked about the distribution between the 4 major categories that came in there. So 41,000 applicants active, and from those profiles, there's around 12,000 or 13,000 invitations to apply that went out. If we break that down by the country of residence, so this is not the country of citizenship, not the nationality of the individual, the passport they hold, the residence, where are they? You'll notice that 86% of all the candidates are in Canada. They reside in Canada, which makes sense. They are currently working here, they went to school in Canada, then they applied under CEC, which again, we saw that 43% of all the applicants came in through CEC. So then that number makes sense, which is around 11,000 of the 12,000 or 13,000 all came in from within Canada. And then after that, it was India, then the United States of America, then Philippines, etc., etc. So if you flip it real quick, and you say, okay, well, what's the nationality of these applicants that came in? So not where they reside, what are their nationalities? You'll notice a more even distribution when it comes to the nationality of the individual. So around 21% are Indian nationals, 19% from the Philippines, 7.5% from the UK, 5.3% from Ireland, 4% from China, 4% from the United States, and then Korea, France, Australia, and Mexico. So by citizenship, there is more even distribution, and the numbers will continue to change as more applicants are being invited to apply. And then per residence, what we're going to probably see is less applicants coming in or applying within from Canada, and then more applicants coming in from outside without the job offer. And then these numbers will vary based on the number of applicants that are coming into the system versus the number of applications that are going outside. So the next step up is to look into the permanent residency applications that went in, which is pretty much the cream of the crop. Over 112,000 applicants came into the system. 41,000 of them were active and eligible. Around 12,000 to 13,000 invitations to apply went out. So how many people, how many immigrants came to Canada, received their permanent residency between January and June of 2015? Now, this number is a bit shocking to many people. We have a lot of questions about that. Some people are saying, hold on a second. The system is failing. The system is not working. What happened to Canada? So many immigrants need to come in. Nobody's coming into Canada. What's going on? I've been sitting there for a while. Express entry is not so express, quote unquote, is one of the comments we are reading online. You need to understand one thing. Express entry, as the CIC office is reporting, it's still in its initial phase. The program is being dynamically redone, modified, adjusted as more applicants are going to come in. So the system is not 100% at its full potential. The system is little by little being modified. Small number of applications are going through. And in 2015, CIC clearly says the majority of the permanent residents that are going to come to Canada in 2015 are from the applications that came in 2014 and before, meaning the old system. Why is that? It's because there is still process that is going to take place. There are changes that are happening in the system, and at one point, when the system is stabilized, then you're going to see larger draws, you're going to see more invitations, and then the point system is going to go into the stabilization mode that the system is actually built for. So, as of today, from January of 2015 till June, based on the CIC report, there's only 411 people that actually came into Canada as principal applicants through the express entry system in all the 4 different categories: skilled worker, trades, skilled trades, CEC, and PMP. Now, with their families, that's around 844. and then the rest is either pending or the application is being processed. Now we're talking about permanent residency applications that actually were accepted, were approved, and the candidates flew in, did their landing, came to Canada, and now they are permanent residents. So 112,000 profiles, 41,000 profiles that are active, 13,000 invitations to apply, and 411 primary applicants that became permanent residents and came to Canada. Are these good numbers, bad numbers? What's going on? This is the question that everybody's asking. So, if you look at the history and then look at the old CIC reports. So, for an example, based on the CIC FY14 report, there is around 135,000 immigrants that came through federal skilled worker, federal skilled trades, CEC, and PMP. So 135,000 immigrants that came in through these 4 economic-based programs. Now, from 1990, an average of 250,000 immigrants from all immigration categories in Canada have been, on average, come in every single year. So 250,000 since 1990 till today. That's how many immigrants are coming to Canada on average. Around half of them, which is around 135,000, are the immigrants that are coming in from these 4 profiles. So from 135,000 immigrants, you went in 2015 to only 411. Obviously, these numbers don't scale up. Obviously, the new express entry system is in its initial phases, ready to balance things out, and therefore these numbers to come up. Once they do, you need to understand the following. Canada's total population is around 35 million. The US population is around 450 million. Canada requires a lot of immigrants. The economic advantage that immigrants provide Canada helps its stability and helps its local economy, regardless of the province where these immigrants are coming in. So for Canada to meet its objectives and look at the track history of how many immigrants are coming in total, how many immigrants are coming in from these 4 programs based on the economic level immigration programs, you will see that the express entry system has a lot of potential to kick in and go up to the numbers that meet the history of immigrants that came into these programs. So now the question that's being asked is, okay, so do I wait? Or do I continue? Or do I stop? Or do I find other avenue? Well, think about it this way. There's 41,000 applicants that are sitting in the express entry as of today. These are the active ones. If tomorrow morning the government comes in and says, I would like to meet my immigration objectives. Based on my history, I used to bring in 135,000 immigrants on the economic level immigration programs, skilled worker, trades, CEC, and PMP. I want to bring these immigrants in 2015. There's only 41,000 active applications. All of them will go right in. If CIC starts issuing invitations to apply to cover the objectives of Canada. So the balance is going to come soon. When is that going to happen? How is it going to happen? Obviously, nobody knows. But eventually, things need to balance out. So do you want to be inside the pool or do you want to be outside of the pool? This is a decision that you have to make. But you need to take into consideration that it's not based on first come, first serve. It's based on who is the person that's sitting in the pool with the highest potential to become economically stable in Canada. So when you're looking at your CRS, go through the assessment, see how many points you're going to get. If you're already in the system, try to see where you're fitting. If you're sitting in the 300 to 400 range, 400 to 500 range, or above, where are you? If you're already registered in the job bank, go and look for jobs. See if you can get yourself a job offer that's supported by a positive LMIA. If you're not, if you haven't applied for any of the PMP programs, look into that. there are 10 provinces and 3 territories in Canada that you can go ahead and try to go and see if there is a specific program that you can qualify for and get yourself 600 points for that. So there's a lot of work that you can do while your profile is in Express Entry. Remember, Express Entry is not an on and off switch. You apply and you're out. It's a dynamic system. Today you might have 350 points, your situation changes, you go up to 400, you go up to 450, you get a job offer, you go over 600. It depends on where it goes. The profile is open for you for 1 year, even if it expires, if your ECA is still valid, if your IELTS scores or exam is still valid, you can go ahead and open up another profile and get yourself another year. So you can be in the system, in the pools, as all these changes are happening. When is the change is going to happen to open up the floodgates for all the applications to come in and the number of invitations to go up, and more immigrants are start going to receive their permanent residency through Express Entry? We don't know. Is it going to happen? Most probably. Because if it's not through these 4 programs, what other options for immigrations are available in Canada? Not too many. You've got your family immigration and sponsorship, you've got your spousal sponsorships, you've got your asylum and refugee cases, you've got your investors and business immigrants, and that's about it. And if you look at the balance, around 50% or so are coming in from the skilled worker, skilled trades, CEC, PMP level. So it's a big contributor to the Canadian immigration system, and there is a big weight that is going to be applied towards these programs. I hope this was very helpful to you, and we will continue to monitor the Express Entry system to see all the changes that are coming in for the months to come.